Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsPoint. My name is Frankie Breit. We've had another eventful week of sports, and we are so happy to have you here. As normal, I am joined by my co-hosts, Brody, Kupsky, and Liam Statz. Welcome back to the show here, gentlemen. How you doing today?
It's National Sports Day, so it's a great day. It's a great day to be a sports fan. So
we're about a week into NHL hockey. I could not be happier about
This guy hasn't shut up since he walked in this room talking about hockey.
Yeah, he hasn't.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it's the best sport, by the way. I will fight either of you on that, objectively.
I hope, just so you know, a little shout out to entertainment. We have an entertainment show coming up later this month about opinions and hills you'll kind of die on. So a bunch of people are invited in, come in, talk about hockey being the best sport. So can't wait for that. But National Sports Day today, the boys here are wearing sports jerseys for the show today. I'm not. We kind of talked about this off camera. I'm on a bye week. The Packers are on a bye. I had this outfit planned for a long time. Give me some slack.
Look, it's respectable. It looks good. So
Thank you.
It's not bad, but for me personally, I wear a jersey like all the time. Like every day, I could wear a different jersey.
Yeah, pretty much. Like every single time I see him, he is just straight up wearing a different jersey.
I have 4 Packers jerseys. That's the only team I have.
4 different Brewers jerseys. No, 5 of them actually.
Okay, I didn't know.
I'm not going to admit to you guys how many hockey jerseys I have.
Just too many. Too many.
All right, guys, let's hop into this week's top storylines. We have handpicked out for the show, and none bigger than we have no more undefeated teams in the NFL.
Pop a champagne for the 72 Dolphins. They keep on doing it. So
they do. The San Francisco 49ers fall to the Cleveland Browns 19-17 on a Jake Moody, rookie kicker. Jake Moody missed field goal near the end of the game. Was it as time expired?
Yes.
I think it was.
It's heartbreaking because his family showed up to the game too.
That's
a lot of people in his family showed up.
And that's a kicker who's been good all season. He's been lights out all season. As a Packer fan, I don't mind. I love to see the 49ers lose, especially to the team like the Cleveland Browns. That's not a bad team this year. Hasn't been a bad team in some time. But they're such a mean team because they were so bad.
Well, that's how it always happens. It's always the best team in football, and they're gonna run right over this team, and then that team's like, hey, guess what? We're gonna just become a major upset story, and you're gonna look like the idiot.
Yeah, and they're wearing their whiteout uniforms, had the white helmets, looking real clean. Key losses for the Niners that day. They lost, Deebo Samuel to injury, shoulder injury, and Christian McCaffrey goes out with an oblique injury. And then Brock Purdy turned into who?
He turned into his
Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah. Thank you. Good answer. Good. That's draft knowledge right there.
And it hurt me to say that. It really did hurt me to say that because he wasn't Mr. Irrelevant since he started playing. He's like, I got drafted last, but guess what? I made it further than any of your teams did. And this is the first game where he's looked human since his injury. So.
And there's been so many memes of like Brock Purdy and like there's a dog shaking, it's scared. Brock Purdy after losing CMC and Samuel, and McCaffrey's not there to take his 1-yard pass 90 yards for a touchdown.
Exactly.
It's just, what do you do at that point? Your big guys are out, and you don't want to call the 49ers frauds. I don't think that's nearly a close call.
I think it was
the Browns are good.
I think they lost just a couple key people that were helping them be productive, and they didn't know how to adjust to it in time.
And the Browns' defense, I feel like, is really underrated this season.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was a defensive game. I mean, 19-17 is pretty close. If it's an offensive shootout, then you wouldn't think about the defense. But the defense really showed out kind of for both teams yesterday, and both teams have really solid defenses.
Yeah,
so.
and you talk about that. That's a defensive battle. The Niners defense, which is arguably the best in the league, went up against P.J. Walker at quarterback, XFL star in 2020. Has been in the NFL, I believe, ever since, but is the third-string quarterback for the Browns. I think the Browns are very smart and have 3 quarterbacks on their roster who are very similar. They have Deshaun Watson. They got the rookie out of UCLA, and then they've got P.J. Walker, the third string, and they had to go to him in that scenario, and he played good enough to beat the 49ers. And that's no easy feat. So happy to see that, and we're going to preview the NFC conference in a little bit here. But moving on, the Eagles were that other undefeated team, and they were upset by the Jets 20-14, another defensive battle. The Jets had 4 takeaways. Jalen Hurts had to attempt over 45 passes. He threw for 300 yards, but also threw 2 picks in the loss.
3 picks, actually.
3 picks, excuse me. Where did the Eagles go from there? I mean, the Jets have life. That's clear as day. That team wasn't going to give up all season. I think they're going to be an up and down team to watch all season. But the Eagles just aren't used to that kind of loss. You know, I mean, there were kids in the crowd crying. I was like, boy, stop crying. My team loses every week.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't lost a game since last season.
Yeah, you were
in the Super Bowl.
You were in the Super Bowl, man.
Like,
what are you
come
gotta be crying
on.
about? You aren't old enough to remember the dark ages.
No.
They were very real in that locker room. Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, A.J. Brown, a lot of these guys took to the locker room and said, we have to look in the mirror. And that team is taking that loss that personal. They're 5-1, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you need to take it that personal, or is that the standard that they've set for themselves?
I think that's the standard they've set. I mean, especially when it's 2 teams. I'm not going to diss the Jets, but I am going to diss the Jets, especially when you lose to the Jets, who have kind of been that inconsistent and not really the best put together team. I mean, they're going to look at themselves and be like, how can we possibly have lost that one to this team? We need to figure out what went wrong and work on it.
They were in New York, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
They were not in.
And I know that's not a
link.
huge hike for Philly fans.
No.
But, I guess you have some sort of advantage there with home field advantage. But the Jets have life. That team's working hard. That defense is no joke. Zach Wilson is figuring it out. That offensive line is figuring it out. Breece Hall is a huge weapon for them. But I think the coolest thing for me as a Packers fan, Rodgers was warming up. Aaron Rodgers was throwing footballs before the game, no crutches, was on the sideline all game, had a headset on. That's something you don't see at this time period in that kind of recovery from an Achilles injury.
I was going to say, he just tore his Achilles over a month ago.
Yeah.
6 weeks ago, man.
That's crazy.
He looks like he is 2 months away from coming back, but
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
He's talked about like, hey, watch me, I'll come back, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be there.
I wonder what he's doing to make what ayahuasca he's smoking. This time
Pass it over to me. I know Brody was just in the gym on Saturday. He's still feeling it.
Dude, I started feeling it last night. This morning I woke up and but I need something like that.
You should get on that Aaron Rodgers recovery.
Wake me up here.
I saw this post a couple weeks ago of just like you walk into the Jets locker room and Aaron Rodgers in the corner like muttering dark spells and he's floating. Like, what is he doing? And just like the thought of that was hilarious. And I know people are joking about it, but he's seriously doing something that I don't think is normally done. And maybe he's just built different.
How many steroids do you think he's taking?
I mean,
is he on Percocet again?
I was going to say painkillers are just mounting in his locker. So.
Yeah, I mean,
he opens up his locker and a mountain of bottles falls out.
Yeah, right. That's an historic recovery if he's able to come back this season. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
I mean, if it happens, that's
cool
something that gets talked about from now to the end of time.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and everyone said he's 39 years old. He's not coming back from this. His body's too old. He can't do this. Watch him. Watch him, boys. Mm-hmm. All right, before we keep talking about football, we have some playoff updates, MLB playoffs for you. Brody Kupsky, the Brewers guru, the baseball fanatic himself. What do we got? What's going on?
So MLB playoffs are not wrapping up yet. There's still plenty of games left to be played, but we're into the championship series between in the AL, the Houston Texans.
They're good this year.
Houston Astros.
3-3.
Houston Astros
Baseball
versus the Texas Rangers. It's an all-Texas showdown. So really great games there. And currently, as of this recording, the Texas Rangers are up 1-0 and are playing right now during this recording. So a lot of good things out of the Rangers right now. Currently are undefeated in the playoffs. So that's pretty huge for them.
Considering how many games they play, for sure.
Exactly. They're 6-0 currently right now. So, I mean, that's plenty of games to be played out of them. And it's to the tune of Higher by Creed. So if you want to jam out to the Texas Rangers, listen to Higher by Creed.
Yay!
Oh, no.
Great song.
We were talking about that last Wednesday.
Exactly.
Good song.
It is a great song. Meanwhile, in the NL side of things, the Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Los Angeles Dodgers to make the championship series.
Can't happen.
Which
Yeah, it can.
it
No.
hurts because they beat the Brewers, and it's pretty much setting the narrative that if you beat the Brewers, you're going to the
going
World
to the
Series.
World Series.
Win or loss in the World Series, you're still making it there.
God, I wish we were them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's truly what I'm saying.
It happens every year, man. It's just, we're going to do it this time.
Basically,
Yeah.
if you're the Brewers, you just got to beat the Brewers to make the World Series. Just beat yourselves.
So basically, if we're in the playoffs, you're welcome.
Yes, pretty
You're
much.
welcome.
Pretty
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome for the World Series run. That
Pretty
we're giving
much.
you.
Wow.
And then on the other side, the Phillies beat the Atlanta Braves in very convincing fashion as they just destroyed them in that last game.
Did you guys see that every time Bryce Harper got at least a 2-base hit, every time he would go around second base, he just stare.
Staring at Orlando Arcia.
Stare.
That stems from Orlando Arcia making comments about Harper in the locker room after they had won against the Phillies in the second game with the attaboy Harper, and that came back to haunt him. And as Arcia, former Brewer by
He was
Brewers
so
legend,
mad.
he was terrible in that series,
Yeah.
hitting wise.
Yeah.
So, Bryce Harper got his revenge, and they're moving on to the championship series, which I believe starts today. So, a lot of big things out of the baseball world. And personally, myself, I would love to see Rangers and D-back showdown. So,
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think that's the way things will happen and mature as well. But dang, I wish we were in there. I just wish we were in there.
that's always the case.
I'll take the Rangers versus anybody as long as it is not the Astros.
I agree.
Yeah.
Don't want
I
them to
agree.
be
Yep.
there.
I'm still not over all that drama.
I'm not either, and then the fact that they then did it again a couple years
Right.
later, just totally
Right.
fine, proved they didn't need it. So
Yeah.
then why did they do it? And then they're always like, oh, look at us, we did it, and we didn't need this time. And it's like, well, you shouldn't have had the other ones.
Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. Well, time will tell here, boys. Looking forward to further playoff matchups in the MLB, but we've got to talk about something, guys, that is a weekly occurrence on this show. Do you want to say it, or should I say it? The Pointers lost. The Pointers lost, okay? Pointers football lost UW Stout 51-14.
We said they'd get 14, though.
We predicted it.
We
on
did
the
it.
show. Was it you?
I think so.
Liam said they put up 14 points. We'll be happy. And in the first half, wouldn't you know
The
it?
first
put
half,
up
they
14
did it.
Points.
Meanwhile, they gave up 38 in that first half. So
Doesn't matter.
14 points is 14 points.
In the first half, too. They didn't wait until the last couple minutes to do it.
Exactly. So those are real points. Those are quality points. That
Yeah.
wasn't against some backup defense. That wasn't a backup secondary that we torched. We did that.
We did that.
Okay? We did that. We can hang our hats on
Certainly
that.
did that.
But at the end of the day, it is a 51-14 point loss.
That doesn't get easier anytime.
Congratulations,
it
Reese Kupsky, on your college's fantastic showing.
He was almost mad because they gave up 14 points.
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
"Dude,
Was he?"
You guys won.
You put up 51 points.
he was gonna
That's
make.
something we
He was gonna
dream
make a
of.
video to send to us about. He's gonna clown on us, and he's probably clowning us right now.
Yeah,
so like,
probably.
I'm open.
Thanks, Reese.
I'm open to that, Reese. Send us a video. Let's say hi. Looking at some stats here, some impressive ones for sure. Jake Lier, 13-23, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. We said he had to have a great game, and I think he did just that. He's
pretty quality.
Obviously not the reason why they lost this game.
Mm-hmm.
This is a depressing stat. Bryson Cashin, 10 attempts for 31 yards. That's just not going to do. Only 10 touches. He didn't catch a ball all game. He had 10 touches all day. We'll get into that. Miles Gallagher, 5 receptions, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Heck of a game for that man. Has been showing out all year long. He's becoming more of an X factor day in and day out, week in, week out. Really happy to see that. Jeremy Kobe followed up his big game last week with 5 receptions, 36 yards. And on the defensive side, they gave up over 500 plus yards. And obviously 51 points, 360 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. Guys,
Jeez.
that cannot happen.
No, it really
That cannot happen. And that's where the issue lies. We'll get into what went wrong, but big picture, the Pointers are now 1-5 on the season, rank bottom of the WIAC, 0-3, and have given up back-to-back games of 51 points. You can't do that.
No, you really.
And I know they know that. That can't happen. As we said, they give up over 500 yards, and at the end of the day, the defense needs to figure it out. You know, you're at the college level now. At this point, is it a scheme issue? Is it a player issue?
I think it's just a talent issue.
And
I'm not to say that those guys are not talented because Tyreek Sims is a monster. It's amazing the things that he does. And obviously we're at the college level, so like it's not like they're playing semi-professional for some team that nobody has even heard of. But with us having the record that we have, football's never really been Point's strong suit. I actually found this out. We did win a national championship a long time ago, but
You're kidding.
We immediately got it rescinded for paying players to come play here. So
Oh, no.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. And so I think that
We should do it again.
yeah, I mean, that's like the point I'm trying to make is like nobody wants to come play for us. We're kind of getting people who are like, I want to play college stuff. I didn't get recruited by the schools I wanted to go to.
Right. Just to clarify, though, on the payment side, the NIL deals are obviously a thing.
Yes. But
colleges don't pay the players.
Yeah.
That is through promotion and promotional
that's like
contracts.
That's through merchandise and stuff like that. Paying players to come play for your college is still very much not allowed.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just if you want to be successful, don't do it.
But yeah, and so it's just kind of we're taking people who are like, you guys are kind of my last choice. I really still want to play football at the college level, so let me come play for you guys. And there's obviously some people who are like, I've always wanted to come play for Point. My parents played here. It's like 2 minutes away from where I live, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, we're not getting at least the D3 recruits that like Whitewater is getting or Lacrosse is getting, and we probably won't ever if we don't get it up somehow.
And that's unfortunate because the student body here, the fan base, people want to see this team successful. They're hungry to win. They're hungry to have a team that they can support and go, yeah, I know we're going to go into this week and we're going to win and not be scared that it's going to be another blowout. And the question is, who's going to be the guy, coaching staff or on the team that's going to turn things around? Who's going to be part of the unit? Who the unit is going to be that is going to turn things around?
It's almost got to be just the whole team's got to just turn it around. It's just not one individual guy that's bringing on the team. It's just the whole team in general. Obviously, we would love to have that leader leading you, but it's got to be a whole team thing, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a team, it's kind of like a brotherhood. You just got to be together. You win as a team, you lose as a team. You're all together. It's just not one person losing you a game. It's a whole team thing.
Yeah, and I don't know the process of the scheme that the Pointers are running on defense, but I feel like time and time again we're giving up a deep ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we not playing cover two? Are our safeties really not that deep? Like, are we not playing back enough to not give that up?
Is it that we're not playing that, or is it that our safeties are just not the guys to be able to make that play?
That could be too. It's just like, it's frustrating. I can't imagine what it feels like to be a part of that team or part of that coaching staff, knowing that we're all sitting here talking about it and wanting better.
Welcome to Pointers football, baby. We warned you.
The answer?
We warned you about this, and yet here you are now, frustrated as we are.
I will never give up. One thing else I want to touch on this loss, Bryson Cashin, like I stated, 10 touches. He touched the ball
yards.
10 times.
Man.
So they're
if they're stopping him, okay, great. But you're not even giving him a chance if you don't feed him the ball.
It's kind of like Aaron Jones. You're not giving the guy a chance.
I was just about to say that, too.
It's just, I'm big on Bryson Cashin after watching him last year. As a freshman, he really did a lot. And this year, he's pretty much kind of done a lot, but if you're not giving the guy the chance, how do you know he's going to be happy?
Especially in the receiving game.
It's frustrating.
There was
because
nothing.
He's very talented at what he does. He does a lot of great things.
I mean, on case in point, the game against Eau Claire. I mean, they had him and they basically had him run the ball.
He was the offense that day. Yeah.
And now they're just like, no, you don't get the ball. I don't really feel like it.
10 times. Maybe it was a point thing that you were down so big, it didn't pay to go with the scheme. It was just like, all right, we got to start chucking the ball around. But at the same time,
I mean, at that point, it's like practice, figure out what works.
Exactly.
Now you have an actual
Why are we
opponent.
still trying to, like, obviously I understand trying to win the game, but, like, you got to find a rhythm. You got to get in a groove on offense, and just playing come from behind football is not going to do that. And I don't think Stout was the team to try and do that against.
No.
And I don't think next week's going to be the week to do that, which we'll get into. But lastly, again, want to highlight Lier to Gallagher. That connection was unreal.
Absolutely.
156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lier's 2 touchdowns went to Miles Gallagher. Had that leg injury against Eau Claire and has played the last 2 weeks. Has been fine. Has been playing stellar. So great to see there. And does anybody know if Gallagher's a senior? I believe Jake Lier's a junior.
I want to say maybe, not sure.
Because if they're both juniors and we can see that connection in their senior year, that'd be awesome.
And there's always improvement in the offseason. We always,
Yep.
I mean, right now you can almost talk about the offseason because it's just not going points
We're
way.
almost there.
But
I think he might be a sophomore, actually.
Oh, even better.
Even better.
Even better.
It's going to grow right before our eyes. So, yeah, we're going to put a bow on that conversation of last week. Last week is last week. River Falls, homecoming week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pointers are playing at home against River Falls. We'll be there streaming the game, commentating the game for you on Pointer Studios, on the UWSP Athletics YouTube channel, and then over 90 FM radio. But River Falls, guys, is 5-1. 5-1 coming off their nationally ranked, coming off their first loss of the season to Whitewater, 21-14.
Yeah, but that's because it's Whitewater.
Exactly. This is a dangerous team. It's a terrifying matchup. Over 70 points in week 3, and they've blown teams out more often than not this season.
So let's say again, I think they get 14 points. I think the Pointers get 14
Over or
points.
under 14 points?
Over under 14 points. What do you guys think?
Over.
Over?
Over.
You think they're getting more?
15.
Okay, all right.
I am taking the under.
You're taking under.
I am most certainly
All right.
taking the under.
I'm obviously just going to go right at 14.
Right in the middle.
I'm gonna go
Right in the middle. No,
I'm gonna
I
go
would
right
love
there.
to see them put up 3 touchdowns. Because why not?
Because why not?
Why can't you?
Yeah,
Even if it's
exactly.
garbage time TD.
Even if it's garbage time, put up 14 in the first half and give me one more in garbage time.
Absolutely.
Why not? Put up
let's do
21
it.
points.
But I'm thinking they get at least 14, and I'll be happy again, especially against River Falls.
I totally agree. Small victories at this point is all we're going for because this is a team that's 2-1 in the WIAC. They're second place, and again, you said nationally ranked. So I don't want to say keys to victory like it says in our script. I want to say like keys to success. Keys to success because this is a very terrible, tough matchup. We all know that. But as a Pointers fan, as a student here, you want to see some improvement. You want to see some growth. You want to see some success. And that question is, I think you can find it in this question, who steps up next to Miles Gallagher on offense? And I think you need another receiving threat, and why can't it be Bryson Cashin? Which could be our next point. But Matt Getchin's there.
Jeremy Colby.
Jeremy Colby has shown he can be that guy.
He's just got to have confidence.
Exactly. We need that another receiving threat right next to Miles Gallagher, and I think that passing attack with Jake Lier throwing the ball like he is right now could surprise some people. That's all I'm going to say. But I led up to the next point. Feed Bryson Cashin. Brody, what do you got to say?
For the love of everything that is holy, please give it to Bryson Cashin. The guy is phenomenal when you give him the ball. I mean, you've seen it in that Eau Claire game. He can do a lot of great things. He can run the ball. He can pass the ball for all we know. He can catch the ball. He can return kicks. Just get the guy the dang ball. Please. I've seen the guy ball out before. Why don't you just give him the ball, especially at a big game like homecoming?
Yeah.
The fans will love it.
It's homecoming.
Just
Come
give
on.
the guy the ball.
Don't be like the
please.
Seahawks and not give arguably your most important person the ball, and we all know what happens next after that.
What?
Bingo.
What happened?
Yes.
Can I confess something? In 2014, I was a Patriots fan.
No.
Yeah.
See,
Okay, well, I've lost a lot of respect for you.
the funny part
Like-
about that is that during that season, the Packers played the Patriots and beat them.
Yeah.
So it was heartbreaking to not make the Super Bowl and then see the Seahawks lose to the Patriots.
Well,
and be beat.
that game was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced
I
besides
agree.
2020 and 2021. But that's one that still keeps me up at night.
Really?
Jermaine Kearse.
2014, 2020, and 2021, I will never stop thinking about those games.
Really?
Never.
Literally in your nightmares.
I
the
am
rest of the
in
time.
pain. Sometimes when I just want to feel something, I go back and I watch those highlights.
Why? Why would
Because
you do that?
it does it for me, you know? Not in a weird way. just like, oh, I'm down bad. I gotta watch something.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Or is it
Well,
weird?
no, it's like oh man, I'm not feeling depressed enough. I'm gonna go watch these highlights from these games. Oh
It's
yeah.
like, what could have been? Like, I really need to cry.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just feel better if I cry.
No,
Maybe that's
if I need to cry, I go watch the 49ers kick a last second field goal to beat the Packers in a game that we had the lead in and choked away, and that always does it for me too.
Which year was that? Remind me.
Pretty much every year since 2012. So
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was week 3 or week 4 of 2021. We beat them. That was awesome. They almost beat us in similar fashion, but we went down the field. Good times, everybody. Good times. Focus on the good times. And after that derailment of a conversation, let's head back to key success. Liam, what is your key to success?
defense. I mean, that's about it. There's really no other way about it. You guys got to figure out what the heck.
Good job. Good job.
What the heck
Kid
is
show,
going on
kid-friendly
there?
show.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh
I mean,
darn it.
seriously, but it's like, okay, we know what does not work, i.e. that they torture safeties every time. You have zero run defense. You basically have nothing except for when Tyreek Sims decides he wants to go have 8 sacks in one game.
Yeah.
And you can't rely on that to happen every single game.
No.
Because otherwise you get stuffed.
Tyreek Sims is a guy who does pop off at home. So
He does.
we'll see.
We'll see.
That's fair.
But you guys have to figure out why you can't cover the long ball, and you got to figure out why they keep poking holes in the 4 guys up front and running the ball and stuffing it down your throats. You have to figure that out.
And maybe you see the defense start blitzing more. I feel like in the games that I've watched, I haven't seen one blitz. And if I have, it was a slot corner blitz. I don't recall his name. It was not Gavino Lopez. It was the other corner who'd come off the edge. And it worked in Eau Claire. It worked against Eau Claire. So maybe you start blitzing up the middle. You start working with some more stunts or something and make that pass rush more complicated for the offensive line. We'll see.
Just put pressure on them.
Yeah, but to your point, you got to make the team one-dimensional. Give up a bunch of yards through the air, but stop the run. I don't care. Stop one thing. Focus on one
something.
thing. Yeah, exactly. I'm
Because
right there
here's the
with
thing, because if you stop one thing, they'll start resorting to the other thing, and then if you stop that thing, you already know how to stop the other thing. It's like I know that doesn't get put together the best way.
I need the complicated math problem right now.
You guys seen that Charlie Day meme where he's like in a wall full of like poster boards and he's like the weird things. That is what what happened inside of my brain.
Yes.
All right, good luck to the Pointers football team this Saturday, homecoming game. We hope to see you all there. It's going to be a ton of fun regardless of the outcome. Come hang out with us on the stream. We can't wait for that game. All right, gentlemen, continuing on the football topic, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers.
I want to talk.
And we're going to review the NFC before we get into the Broncos matchup this coming weekend. The Packers lost. It sucked. Do you have any thoughts? I had a 12-minute rant, and there's one thing I want to add.
Yes, you did.
But if you guys didn't check out the 12-minute rant on last week's episode and you're still mad about what happened against the Raiders, go check it out. And I just want to give you guys the opportunity to say anything if you're still feeling something.
Why are you throwing it into triple coverage? Why?
Because
Why not?
Because why
it's
not?
the best thing to do.
Yeah, sure. Triple coverage. Oh, look, Max Crosby. I'm going to hit him right in the chest.
man, oh man, oh man.
I can't smash the desk, but just, I'm doing it right now.
I mean, you could if you want to go through it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right now.
Right now, right at this second.
Right now.
All
break the tables,
give me
break the
a sec.
laptops, break the mics.
I think Keaton would be very upset. At me
Yeah.
about that. I'm not going to lie.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so there's one thing I wanted to add to my rant last week. I didn't even get to talk about the horse collar tackle and how mad I was that Marcus Peters,
Got it.
Asbestos. If you guys didn't watch that reel, oh my gosh. Marcus Peters tackled Christian Watson from the horse collar, ripped him down from behind, and prevented a touchdown. Yeah. I don't want to use the word saved. Stole.
Yeah.
Stole a touchdown from the Green Bay Packers. That, to me, is suspendable, it's ejectable, and it's finable. Mm-hmm. That should be a finable call. That should be a suspendable call, and it should be potentially an ejectable call. Because you changed the outcome of that game potentially, not by making a smart play, but by cheating. Because that is a rule in the game that you're not allowed to do that. So when you do that, you're cheating. That's why they throw the flag. Like, was he fined?
He was fined.
$13,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but I want to see a suspension. I want to see him get ejected because, like, that is so dirty. The Raiders are hacks. I hate the Raiders franchise. I hate the Raiders players. Devontae, I love you, miss you. But that infuriated me like no other. And I didn't talk about it in the rant. I shut up after the rant and I was done, and I was like, shoot, I didn't even talk about that. But now here I am.
Yeah. My part of the rant here, the offensive line is terrible. So me as a former offensive lineman at my high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Somehow,
you look
yes.
Great.
I know.
I know.
It's frustrating because you know that you're better than this. Granted, yes, they're all young, but you can't be this bad.
Not in the NFL.
It's frustrating.
An offensive line that was ranked by PFF like top 6 in the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Sure ain't top 6.
Not anymore.
Jeez. I mean, I get it. You're injured and you're losing your, one of the greatest tackles probably of all time, David Bakhtiari, even when he's not hurt. It's heartbreaking, but you still got to block. You can't just be a saloon door and just, let you right through.
I mean,
please.
There was an A.J. Dillon run to the left that there was 4 defenders in the backfield before he even took 2 or 3 steps. So it's painful, especially when they're only missing 1 starter on that line. The 4 other guys were all the starters. And you gave up that kind of game to the Raiders' defensive line. It
was just Max Crosby.
When it rains, it pours. They just never figured it out, and then they just didn't.
And I want to go into a bit of optimism here. The NFC through week 6, Packers had a bye, so they're 2-3. Played only 5 games through 6 weeks. Can't believe we're 6 weeks into the season already.
It feels like we started.
But there's a lot of notable teams that in the NFC with similar records to us. Commanders are 3-3, Seahawks 3-2, Rams, Falcons, Saints. All those teams are right in that 3-3, 3-2, 2-3 mix of opportunity for that 5th, 6th, 7th seeds. It's all open. And there's been a lot of evening out, a lot of balancing out throughout this week in the Packers' favor, I'd say. So, yes, I know they are 2-3, but everything in that side of the playoff picture is wide open with a lot of time in the season left. So, with that, let's look at the Broncos game. Coming off a bye week, we have a 3:25 kickoff, very unlikely for this team throughout the season. Finally have one. We're in Denver. And the Broncos previously lost to the Chiefs Thursday Night Football.
Shocker.
19-8. Very close score, actually, for that game, surprisingly. And they fell to 1-5.
Broncos country.
Let's ride.
Yes.
Let's ride.
That was the worst thing I've
Russell
ever
Wilson,
seen.
is he good or bad?
Good quarterback, bad team.
Okay. Brody?
Man. Should say mid quarterback?
I would say mid quarterback.
I don't know what happened to him, but he's not having a terrible year. I think he's on pace for like 30-some touchdowns, 4,000 yards. So
he's actually having a better season than last year. So I'll give him that.
Sure.
Average, slightly above average quarterback.
Yeah.
Bad team.
Yeah, I would totally agree. They also have a terrible defense.
That's ironic, actually, because last year their defense was really, really good, ranked very highly.
Yeah,
and kind of like like 1976 Falcons, where defense was really good, offense was terrible. It's kind of a flip to this year. Now the defense is absolutely terrible, but the offense is slightly better.
Yeah, and this is a Packers team that's 2-3 versus the Broncos 1-5, and I think the Packers have 3 winnable games in a row that they can turn things around and get back in the win column convincingly. And it has to start here. They have to come out of this bye week. They have to show promise, and they have to get back to who they were in weeks 1 and 2. I don't know what happened, and it's more than an Aaron Jones problem. That's a problem in its own right, but the passing game disappeared. And that's an issue. I mean, those young receivers were showing out through weeks 1 and 2.
Do you think it was kind of the play calling on the offense, do you think?
Absolutely. Did you watch my rant?
I
laid into the play calling.
I watched like that much of it.
I don't blame you. I mean, I was just yelling.
Well, it wasn't because I didn't want to see it. It was because I unfortunately procrastinated way too long on multiple assignments. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Liam's the real one. Yeah, we got to see the OG Packer team from the original week 1 and week 2 showings. So
Why
for
can't
me,
you just
Packers.
be like the team that beat the Bears.
That's what I'm saying.
What happened to that?
What happened?
It's the Bears. I know.
It's because
but
Joe
now,
Barry got too big for his britches, and now he
I
thinks
bet
he's
you
the
that's
best
what it. I
defensive
mean,
coordinator.
you're playing against the Broncos now. So if you could do that to the Bears, why can't you do that to the Broncos? And I know the Raiders also beat the Patriots last week, so they're 3-3 now, which makes things look a little bit more respectable. But this has to be a win, and I think Love needs to have a bounce-back game after throwing a lot of picks in the last couple of weeks. He's 8-6 touchdowns to picks through the air. I would love to see him have 4 touchdowns because why not? Why not? He hasn't had a 4-touchdown game yet in his career, and I think this could be the defense that he does have that kind of game. Brody, do you have anything for us? Keys to victory for the Packers.
We were talking about Bryson Cash and not getting the ball, and we compared him to a certain Aaron Jones on the Packers. This is exactly to my next point. Feed the ball to Aaron Jones, please. Against a terrible defense like the Broncos, you got to give it to Aaron Jones, your best running back, probably the best running back in the league if he gets the ball. You know, he's great in open space. Very, very solid receiver when he gets the ball in the receptions. If you give him the ball, he'll open up that offense, and then, you know, like we're talking about the passing, if they focus more on trying to stop Aaron Jones, that opens up the passing game wide open.
Yeah.
So you can't be one-dimensional and just pass the ball the entire time and not give it to your running backs. Granted, A.J. Dillon had a better game, but you got to give it to Aaron Jones if he's in. It's frustrating not seeing him play, especially since he's on my fantasy team, so I really need him to go off. But it's frustrating because he's a great player, and you know he's a great player, but if you're not giving that ball to your great player, he's going to be frustrated with you.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I think he's easily the best back in the NFC North, next to David Montgomery, who's now out with a rib injury. So why can't he be the showcase talent for the NFC North this week? I think he most definitely should be, and I think having him or Love be the NFC Player of the Week, Offensive Player of the Week, that'd be amazing to see. Liam, do you have anything to add?
I do. Taking pressure off the defense because, the best defense is a great offense.
Now that's wise. That was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks. I definitely didn't look at anything on the screen in front of me to figure that out. But also, I figured I'm just a little side thing that I figured out. I think Joe Barry's a sleeper agent for the Denver Broncos because he was born in Colorado. He did grow up in Colorado.
Good chance.
So he's going to be like lights out this game?
No.
Oh.
I think he's going to be terrible because that's Joe Barry.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
He's going to play for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, you got to figure out what's going on. I mean, case in point, last game, why is Preston Smith covering Devontae Adams? In what world does that make any sense?
I talked about that too. I think that's a situational call. He's a terrible situational football play caller, and the guy you have dropping into the slot zone is Preston Smith, and who's in the slot? Devontae Adams. How did you not expect that? He played slot for you on the Packers.
Yep.
So what are we doing?
Preston Smith's like 250 pounds, and Devontae Adams is like 120 pounds soaking wet. Like you can't expect the dude to chase him down.
Right by you.
Yeah, and I watched that replay, and he, at no point did Preston Smith have that guy covered.
No,
not
one
a
bit.
single
But
point.
I entirely agree with you. You got to figure out the play calling on defense for sure. But the play calling on offense is going to lighten the load on the defense because this is 2 seasons back to back where the time of possession is way against the Packers and the defense is on the field constantly. And that's not okay because that defense is going to get worn out. I think this defense can be more talented than it's looked because of not being able to showcase that they can be because the Packers are constantly off the field. This is a gas defense who's coming onto the field 24/7, who's not going to play to the best of the ability when they're that tired.
Exactly.
So we'll see. And I feel like the defense also has to reach really deep into the bag of tricks because they're having to call so many plays.
Mm-hmm.
So
Call something weird. Who cares?
Yeah, why
Who
not?
cares of this? But yeah, just
five
call some-
safeties on the field.
Exactly.
You got 5 safeties on the roster. Jeez. Anyway, guys, that was good. That felt good.
Yep.
Packers winning this weekend has to be
Has to
right.
win.
Please.
Score predictions.
I believe it will be 23 to. I'll give it 16.
Okay, that's really close.
See, I'm going to have to go close too. I'm going
Oh,
to go
boy.
around that range. It'll be about 21-14. And simply because, here's the thing, is any other year, absolute blowout. But this year, with how the Packers have been playing, it's got to be close.
34-14.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Were you willing to make a bet on it?
No. I'm an optimistic boy, but I'm not that optimistic. Let's put a cork. Let's put a cap. Let's stop talking about football. This guy's been itching to talk about hockey. Look at him. He's giddy.
I mean, he's like,
Absolutely.
Liam, not Mr. Hockey.
Mr. Hokey or whatever.
Mr.
it was.
Hokey
I didn't-
Pokey.
didn't look at what it said. I don't know if it was.
I don't even know what I put. I think I put not Mr. Hockey.
Not Mr. Hockey.
Yeah, I think that's what I wrote.
That's funny.
Liam, update me on hockey, college hockey, professional hockey, NHL. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, starting off kind of local, Waala hockey returns this week. A couple of exhibition games. Pointers don't play, unfortunately, but
Dang.
UW Stout does. And
I get to go. I'll be in Winona that weekend playing club baseball, Charlotte Club Baseball. We'll be playing in Winona that weekend. That's when Stout plays in Winona against St.
Wow.
Mary's
St. John's.
or St. John's University, which
The St. John's Johnnies, by the way.
Pointer-
Johnnies? They're
Yeah.
called the Johnnies?
called the Johnnies.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
Pointers play them in November, so they play both teams in November.
Please tell me
actually,
they
so.
suck.
They do. We beat them every single year. They've never been that good.
They gotta change that name.
They also are one of the few teams my freshman year that I was like. That's one of the first few games I went to. First Pointers games I ever saw in person.
Yeah.
That game ended with multiple ejections because we just fought each other.
That's awesome.
It was
That's
the
great.
best
What's a
game.
Johnny, though?
I don't know.
Can we-
They're called the St. John's Johnnies.
What's a Johnny?
What is a Johnny?
What is a...
Well, I mean, we're the pointers.
No,
they're the
no, that's a
John
dog. That is a
Johnnies.
dog.
Yeah, but the John Johnnies,
A
It's
Johnny is a short gown in the back worn by hospital patients.
Good enough.
good enough. We'll take
That's
it.
what it is.
We'll take
That's what
it.
their team name is.
I mean,
I'm sorry I'm laughing at you if you go there, but
Well,
you
they
gotta change
play.
that.
They play in the same arena that St. Cloud plays in.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, crap! It's one of the most famous hockey coaches of all time, and the fact that I'm forgetting his name right now is going to make me upset to know.
At least they got that going for them.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're not a bad team. It's just we're better.
Yeah,
we're
well,
better.
anyway.
Yeah, and Pointers predicted to be at least ranked third, according to D3 Hockey News. At least top 10. At the very least top 10.
That's huge.
They did finish last season in disappointing fashion. Overtime loss to Adrian. Should not have lost that game. There was a goal that was called back, which I'll go on a whole other rant about some other day.
That's what keeps you up at night.
It does keep me up at night because the puck doesn't go over the goalie's left shoulder and exit between his legs and not go in the back of the net when he's in the net. Anyways, so they finished that season ranked 8th in the nation. So this time I expect them to go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Badgers hockey went 1-1 this last weekend. They beat Bemidji State. With that win, they would have officially had the best start they've had in 19 years.
Wow, good for them.
3-0, and
Good for them.
that's actually before their last national championship title in 06. They unfortunately did drop. It was like a little miniature tournament. It's called the Icebreaker Tournament. They did drop that to University of North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks. Routed the Badgers in a shutout, 2-0. Pretty good game still. North Dakota has always been the team that the Badgers kind of struggle against. It's just how it is. It's been that way for years.
Yeah.
They're still not ranked. Badgers are still not ranked.
That makes no sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense
crazy.
to me either. And at this point, I just chalk it up to the coaches. The USCHO just does not consider Wisconsin still good enough a team to rank them. So
That's crazy to me.
everybody in the Big Ten except for Notre Dame. Notre Dame fell out of the rankings this week. Is still ranked. So Minnesota.
That's embarrassing. Like,
Minnesota went up to number 1. So.
oh, good for them.
Yeah, good for
Exhibition
them.
game win.
They're
0-0.
2-0. They're 2-0.
now they're
We're 3-1, and just hate it.
Go over there and
Hate
smack
it
them in the face.
so much. Arizona State made it onto the poll, and that's scary because Arizona State's always been the program you look at and go, ha, you're not a real program, and now they're ranked. So that's
crazy.
That's
But not the Badgers.
But not the Badgers. No, not the Badgers.
Nope.
Thoughts from the first week of the NHL? It's been very good. It's been very good hockey so far. There hasn't really been a bad matchup so far. The Bruins, the Knights, and the Maple Leafs.
So wait, are both your teams doing well so
Yes,
far?
they're both undefeated so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many games played?
3.
Well, yeah, 2 for the Maple Leafs. They actually play tonight as we're recording this. Currently, right now, Austin Matthews is on pace for over 240 goals because he's had 2 hat tricks this season, which is
Already.
3 goals a game, and that is fantastic. Because
Yeah.
Let's see if he gets another one tonight, eh?
look, that's what I'm looking forward to. I hope he puts up a lot against the Blackhawks tonight.
Another weird stat. And also Connor Bedard, first NHL goal, scored a couple of days ago. It was no cheap either. It was a pretty good wraparound.
Great
So
goal.
it was a pretty good goal. Hope to see more from
and
him.
your team, the
Golden
Knights
Knights
are
Also 3-0 and 5. Kind of a funny fact. Every single game they've played, they've won 4-1. Every
Wow.
single one so far.
Wow.
Which is
so a lot of goals scored.
well, and it's also weird. Like that's not how that
It doesn't
usually
happen
goes.
a lot. I want to ask my friend Chris, how's the Kraken doing?
They're 0-2. They haven't won yet.
Boy.
Been kind of brutal, but
He wants to come on this show and yell at you.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Knights v Kraken
I will
on
wear
the
my
show.
Knights jersey. You tell me when he's coming here, and I will come debate him on who's
And
got the
just-
better team.
Yeah.
And
Can I sit in the middle?
Yeah, you can.
mediator.
Whoa.
Be like, whoa. Panthers, I kind of eaten my words a little bit, and they're off to a very disappointing start. They are also winless. They have not won one yet. So
Darn it all, eh?
I mean, still plenty of season left, so a lot can change.
Plenty
How
of
many
season.
games we play in the NHL?
like 82. Yeah. Well, it's basically game, no game,
That's
like every
82
other
chances
day.
to get punched in the face.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's why we love the sport of hockey.
All
That's why we love
right.
the sport of hockey. That's why I love the sport of hockey, because we can fight in ours and you guys can't fight in yours. So,
I can pull somebody down
No,
my
you
neck
can.
and potentially break their neck, but not get ejected or suspended.
That one's keeping you up for the rest of the time, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, it is.
Yes, it
All
is.
right. Lots of NHL matchups tonight. There's a couple of them. Like the one I'm going to watch tonight, because the Knights don't play, is the Maple Leafs versus the Chicago Blackhawks.
It's a great game.
Absolutely. And that is all I have for hockey so far.
Man, you flew right through that.
Of course I
crazy.
flew right
It's like, I
through
gotta
it.
get this out.
Because I got it all out. I knew how to get it all out.
That was nice. That was nice. Great
love-
sense.
I was
also-
going to say, once Wyatt hockey starts up, he's going to be all over.
I can't wait. I mean, you said you think the Pointers got a good shot this year?
Oh, they have a good shot every year.
I mean,
I like
every
that.
single year.
They are
like that.
projected first in the WIAC, which is no shocker.
And
but
both
Liam-
regular season and championship.
Liam said that I know obviously that we're probably going to be commentating the games, but for once, I have to go watch a Pointers hockey game from the stands.
please
Just from
do.
the stands.
Just
it is
please
an
do.
experience that
I bet
you'll
it
never
is.
ever forget.
I bet it is.
one-
I'd love to do it.
It is one of the best experiences I've ever had here at my time at Stevens Point. It's
Hey.
amazing.
I'll make my way over.
You will.
Lastly, the NBA preseason's going on. The Bucks had not their first, but
Second or third.
But we just saw
The one that anybody cares about.
right, the debut of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo on the court together. Oh man, was that fun to watch, right?
It was great stuff, and I'm glad to see it because, oh man, it's going to be a great season.
Our tech producer Keaton Waala and I were talking off screen before the show, and Giannis was saying like, who are they going to double cover now? They're not going to double cover me if they're going to double cover him, and I don't think the Bucks have had that kind of offense in a very long time.
That's what they need.
You know,
They most certainly do.
exactly. And having that opportunity is going to open up so many possibilities for this team. Really looking forward to that season. We were just saying, too, it's so hard to decide what to talk about on the show because everything is going on right now. Every sport is really starting up or is in the middle of their season or is finishing up their season if it's baseball. A lot of happening in sports.
It's a great National Sports Day.
Yeah, National Sports Day.
Our good friend Ashton actually, I think it was Ashton, but he actually said this. Everybody's been so focused on this new season of everybody that we've signed and traded for. Totally glossed over. The Bucks have a new head coach.
That was me who said that.
literally.
Like, it was
me who
Brody.
said
Okay,
that.
it was Brody. Like they have a brand new head coach.
yeah, nobody's talking about
nobody's
that.
talking about it.
Yeah, Bucks got Damian Lillard. Guys, we just had a new head coach sign
and
not too long ago.
Bobby Portis was talking about the culture change and like what used to not be allowed now can happen and just how fun that has been on a player standpoint. So really cool to see that the players are happy with the culture and where the team's headed. Again, that even boosts the possibilities and opportunities of this team. So please, no more sadness in the playoffs for Wisconsin sports. We just want another ring. 2021 was a good year.
It was.
It was a really, really fun time. I think we're going to wrap it up with that. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this episode of SportsPoint. Good luck to all our campus sports team this coming week. Good luck to the Packers. Good luck to all the Wisconsin sports teams. And, of course, the Knights and the Maple Leafs as the NHL hockey season continues. We're looking forward to the homecoming game this weekend, Pointers versus River Falls. We know what the game might look like, but let's have some fun, all right? Check out the SportsPoint football stream on the UWSP Athletics YouTube channel or on the 90 FM radio station, where we will also be streaming the commentary. Thank you again for everybody watching. Thanks to our crew, Aminee, Hoff, floor manager Keaton, Waala, the tech producer. Stay tuned for more SportsPoint. Brody, Liam, thanks so much for joining me again here today. And everybody have a great week. We'll see you later.